It is Breakfast Daily on Citi now. It is time for my personal favorite conversation on this show. It is Firebambo, and we're talking all things fisheries. Today we'll be looking at what kinds of policies our folks in the fisheries sector would want politicians to make in their manifesto. For years, we've been dealing with cycle. Each year, we lose millions of dollars to cycle. Our local artisanal fishers are struggling because they have to, unconsciously, indirectly participate in this illegality, because the same people who are stealing their fishes from them are the same people selling it back to them. So now that politicians will be coming into their neighborhoods, what kinds of things will they expect them to do come next year? If you have any questions or contributions to the conversation, let us know. The hashtag is Breakfast Daily, and the WhatsApp line is 0550585832. If you're outside Ghana and you would still like to contribute to the conversation, please use the country code +233. And of course, this conversation has been made possible by the European Union in collaboration with CARE International and Friends of the Nation, as well as Oxfam. I have been joined by Naa Kweigya, who's an executive member of the Ghana National Canoe Fishermen Council. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm doing fine by God's grace.
Thank you so much for being with us.
A pleasure.
Now, before we even get into the expectations, you've been telling me that you guys have been protesting for the past week. Why?
Yeah, thank you, and good morning to your viewers as well. You know, in the 2020 budget, government stated in paragraph 718 that cycle will be stopped.
Yeah.
And we are in bumper season, that is July, August, September. You go to our landing beaches and fishers are not making catch. And we feel that as scientists warned in 2017, that if nothing is done, nothing drastic is done, then 2020, our small pelagic could collapse. We feel that that is what we are experiencing. So we'll have to now call on government to stop the cycle, as it was said in the budget. So across the 4 regions, Volta, Greater Accra, Central, and then the Western region, fishers have been protesting since last Wednesday. Today marks the end, and we are expecting His Excellency, the President, and the government to hear the call of artisanal fishers and stop cycle.
For our viewers who are hearing of cycle for the first time, can you explain to us exactly what it is and how it's stealing money from all of us? Yeah,
good. Now, Ghana's fisheries sector is regulated and not open access. So within 6 nautical miles or 30-meter depth is reserved for artisanal fishers only, although artisanal fishers can go beyond that. Industrial trawlers cannot come and fish within that 6 nautical mile or 30-meter depth zone. We refer to this place as the inshore exclusive zone.
Okay.
There are certain types of fish that are found within this area. That is what we call the small pelagic. And we refer to it as the people's fish, because that is what is much consumed by lower and middle income people. So we refer to it as the people's fish. We have a situation where these industrial trawlers who have not been licensed to catch these kinds of fish come into the inshore exclusive zone and harvest these fishes, which are actually meant for artisanal fishers. So they harvest them, send it up there, freeze them into pallets or blocks of fish, and they sell to their agent who land them at the fishing communities and sell it to the fishing communities for huge profits, while the artisanal fishers make no catch. So that is the problem that artisanal fishers are going through now. This is what we refer to as a cycle. So it's like catching what is meant for artisanal fishers, freezing them, and now selling it back to them as your catch. Meanwhile, the license that were given to these industrial trawlers does not permit them to catch these kinds of fish.
So they are stealing from us in broad daylight and selling it what they are stealing from us back to us.
This is what is actually driving the collapse of Ghana's fisheries, because it is a severely destructive form of IEU. Because one, it takes these small pelagics. 2, it takes juvenile fish. So a study by University of Cape Coast has revealed that if you take a block or a slab of fish, over 90% are juvenile fish. Now, if you are catching juvenile fish in such quantity, then you are, depleting the stock. Then the resource do not have the potential to even rebuild. And that raises serious concern. Because one, it is a threat to food security. It is a threat to nutrition. Because these kinds of fish provide fish protein.
Yeah.
So if you are destroying such livelihood, then it is a threat. Again, it is a threat to job and income security, because artisanal fishers, culturally, we are fishers.
Yeah.
And there's nothing we can do. Even if we can do something, but this is a tradition that must be preserved.
So it's an election year. Politicians are going to come out with their manifestos.
Yeah.
Top 3 things you in the industry would like to see transformed.
Good. Now, since the formation of Marine Police in 2012 and the establishment of the Fisheries Enforcement Unit in 2013, artisanal fishers have not realized their benefit, because these institutions were there to enforce the fisheries laws. They were there to enforce the regulations. However, there's widespread IEU across our landing sites.
And what's IEU?
Illegal, unreported, unregulated fishing.
Illegal, unreported, unregulated fishing. So it seems as though we don't even have anyone cleaning up the sector or holding anyone to account.
That is why these industrial trawlers are doing what they are doing. If we were to enforce our laws, if we were to enforce our regulations, then the license that we're giving them does not permit them to fish within the inshore exclusive zone. It does not permit them to harvest small pelagics. Do
you report them when you see what they are doing? Because, I mean, for our viewers who don't know what's going on in your sector, we see Guta going crazy on foreigners. Do you guys also actively approach them the way it's made and say, come and...
Who give the license to these industrial trawlers? Who collect data on our catch? Every year, government comes out with our annual marine catch. Who collects that data? Where do they get that data? They move from landing beach to landing beach or landing site to collect those data.
So they know what's going on.
They know that it is practiced in Elmina. They know it is landed in Apam. They know it is landed in Axim. The Fisheries Commission knows.
So last year, we heard from the finance minister that cycle was going to be a thing of the past.
Yes.
How are you guys feeling now? Almost 1 year in, nothing has changed.
It is still happening, and the government has not demonstrated that indeed they meant what was put in the budget. And this actually called for the protests that we witnessed last week. So we are humbly appealing to government that seriously, livelihood of over 2.7 million Ghanaians are at stake. And this also is a national security, because you come to the communities and poverty is getting worse and worse. The standard of living is, depreciating.
What would you like to see government do that they've not been doing all this time?
Government to demonstrate strong political will to enforce our fisheries laws and regulation. First and foremost, because once you begin to enforce the laws, you begin to enforce the regulations, then you will be able to clamp down on these illegalities, which are driving the collapse of the industry. So any serious political party who want to appeal to fishers must first demonstrate that indeed the fisheries laws and regulations that govern our marine fisheries will be enforced. And we should see that demonstration that indeed these fisheries laws will be enforced. 2, we want government or any political party that will want to appeal to fishers to, talk of preparing a fisheries management plan that puts artisanal fishers at the center. Who first and foremost own these resources is we Ghanaians. And we Ghanaians are involved in artisanal fishing. Over 140,000 fishermen. Don't talk of the fishmongers. Don't talk of the carriers. Don't talk of the canoe carvers. Don't talk of their dependents. Now, we depend on this for survival. So any fisheries management plan must put artisanal fishing at the center. Must seek to protect this for the artisanal fishers. must seek to protect our fisheries in the interest of artisanal fishers. We cannot have a plan that seeks to protect foreign vessels from fishing, exploiting, whilst artisanal fishers wallow in poverty and hardship. That cannot be the order. So going forward in 2020, as we approach election, we want a political party to demonstrate that I will come out with a management plan that puts artisanal fishers at the center. And that will mean that you really care for artisanal fishers. 3, many landing beaches have challenges with proper landing sites. And we want political parties to take note of that, that it is about time landing fishing communities get proper landing sites across, not this sporadic, this selective kind of things. We should be serious with this, that if you are going to, you are going for any infrastructure, investment in infrastructure, landing site must also be a top priority to improve the standard of living of fishing communities. It is again about time that we look at how we can regulate our artisanal fisheries in such a way that the fishermen will not end up becoming a poorest of poorest person when the strength weight to go for fishing. I know previously this issue about pension for fishermen has been discussed. And some, consensus were built towards implementing something like that. We think the time is now that political parties should take interest in that. That we can look on whilst the fishermen end up becoming poorer and poorer at the end of the day. I think if government attends to or political parties consider these things, it will be appealing to fishers.
What would our collective future look like, and not just within the fisheries sector, but as a nation, if we continue to neglect the sector the way we've been doing?
Yeah, if we continue to neglect as we are doing, then as I said earlier on, we are putting the livelihoods of over 2.7 million Ghanaians in jeopardy. Because these people depend on artisanal fisheries for survival. It is a threat to job. It is threat to income, and once job and income is threatened, then it reduces the income, the income of the ordinary citizens. And when the people become poorer and poorer, you can talk of social vices. Then people are unable to even contribute to national development. People cannot care for the environment. We do not even have the moral right to even talk or talk to the fisherman not to do something which is wrong. Because if we can look on for industrial trawlers to destroy the livelihoods of these fishermen, what moral right again have we to tell the ordinary fisherman who is going with monofilament in it?
Do you think we are afraid or intimidated by these industrial trawlers?
The political will is not there. The
Why
political will is not there. That one, you will have to engage them. You will have to.
But for you on the
them.
ground, I'm sure you see your colleagues in other parts of the world, where perhaps their governments are even subsidizing them to be competitive. How do you feel when you see other fisher folks in other countries thriving and you're still struggling? We
feel disappointed in people who have been placed in charge of our fisheries. We feel highly disappointed. Because if you are in charge of such a resource, now you take the last 3 years, the budget statement. Year by year, it has been decreasing, our annual marine catch. 2019, government did not even state the amount. They only said that scientific evidence reveals that our fish catch has declined and it is collapsing, for which reason they will go for drastic measures, including stopping cycle. So if we look at what is happening, it is total disappointment. We feel disappointed that people have been placed in charge of this resource. They are continually calling themselves the bosses and those kind of things. But it is collapsing. The resource is getting depleted. So what is the essence of being a leader? When our marine fisheries is collapsing and people's lives are becoming worse off, it should be of concern to whoever calls him or herself a leader. So we feel disappointed. And we feel that government should boldly hear the call of artisanal fishers. and address these things. The IUU is widespread, but there are evidences to show that this cycle, which is being practiced now, is what is driving the industry to a collapse. What then do? We urgently stop this. Then fishers can now sit down and look at, those minor things that also do not help the industry. Then we resolve it. Fishers should have that hope that indeed the regulator, the government cares about the industry. And until this is stopped, all management plans are unproductive. We have been talking about close season, and I keep on saying that, look, in the face of cycle, close season is nothing. It's wastage. Because if they are catching juvenile fish, if they are catching the small pelagics, and you are saying artisanal fishers should observe close season, what are they observing the close season for? The close season is there to allow the fish to, lay eggs, mature, then we can catch.
But if they are not,
if these juvenile fish are being harvested in such a quantum, with that disregard for our laws, then wow, artisanal fishers observing close season. So it is important government demonstrate, leadership in this sector. Put a stop to this cycle, and let's sit down and talk about other things that can help improve Ghana's marine fisheries.
what's the potential of the sector from your estimation? Because every time you guys come over, we talk about Fire Bambo, I'm always thinking of what happened to the poultry sector, where now we import substandard chicken into the country for prices that even wherever the chicken is coming from, people won't pay that price for that low grade of chicken. What will be the price we'll pay as a nation if we no longer have fishes in our water bodies and we have to rely on importing fish from other countries to survive?
Yeah, in the 2020 budget, government said that if drastic measures are not taken, then Ghana will be a net exporter of fish in 2025. This is what was said in the 20. The opening statement of the 2020 budget under the fisheries and aquaculture. That is what government says. So government acknowledges the fact that we are in crisis. We feel we are in emergency. Now, if we are going to import fish, as government has said in the 2020 budget, let's look at the other implications that it has on the ordinary fisher in these fishing communities. In the last 10 years, income of these fishers has reduced by around 15%. Okay, and it keeps on declining. I mentioned that we are in our bumper season, July, August, September. There are no catch.
Wow.
So what do you think is happening? Canoe owners, geo owners are running into loss. They are incurring huge debt. You just go to the fishing communities.
So it's not just the fishers who have to deal with the fishes. Everyone on the entire supply chain is currently struggling.
Everybody. In fishing communities, even going to school depends on
sales of fish.
Because your parents will need money to support you. Attending to hospitals, clinics, or whatever depends on fish catch. Going to church depends on fish catch. Our entire life rests on this. So once we experience what we are experiencing, then we are on time bomb.
Do you feel as though, successive governments have been paying lip service to fixing the sector? And, before we even get to the cycle bit, what are some, grassroots changes you would like to see so that that, okay, at least we are making progress in some of these areas?
Yeah, I said that in 2012, the Marine Police was formed.
Yeah.
In 2013, the Fisheries Enforcement Unit was established, all for the purpose of boosting enforcement. Because we have a regulated fisheries regime. Once you lose guard in enforcing the law, there is that tendency for people to do what is wrong. And that will drive the industry down.
Because you're in a state of anarchy. Nobody's holding you accountable for anything.
So these institutions were brought in to help enforce the fisheries laws. But here we are, these institutions are not resourced to do what is expected of them. So why were these institutions formed if we cannot cause them to do what for which they were established? So that is important. You know, this cycle thing has existed for a very long time across several governments. But we have gotten to a point where evidence has shown that in 2020, by the end of 2020, if nothing is done, it will collapse our artisanal fisheries. It will collapse the small pelagics. Why then do we say that since previously nothing serious has been done about it, so we also not do anything serious about it? It is collapsing now. So if we made series of mistakes previously, now we have been confronted with this devil that is about to kill us. Why do we sit down? Why do we still, you know, be comparing and those kind of things? And no, the problem at stake is that illegal transshipment, which we popularly call the cycle, is collapsing artisanal fishery. The regulator is expected to act. Interestingly, it was stated in the 2020 budget that was read last November by the Minister of Finance, that 2020 we will stop it. And there's something very interesting about the statement that were.
And we all celebrated it when he said it.
Yes. And government admitted in it that it is indeed driving the collapse of the industry. So it was a drastic measure. We think the time is now. And now is the time. Government should go ahead, stop this illegal transshipment, this cycle thing. And now fishers can begin to think of what else can we do to rebuild our fisheries.
Now, our viewers are watching. Some of them may belong to NGOs, private institutions, organizations. You know, Oxfam, Care International, European Union, and Friends of the Nation. They are doing their best by keeping this conversation alive. What more should the rest of us be doing to raise awareness towards what's happening in this sector?
Unfortunately, many people have not shown interest in the fisheries issue. Probably because whenever we go to the market, we find fish.
So we take it for granted.
Begin to ask yourself the quality of fish you are consuming.
And the impact on your health.
And the impact on your health. So it is about time everyone shows interest in fisheries. And we begin to talk about it. After all, we have heard of some people using chemical. We have heard of, you know, DDT, those kind of things. Do you think they are good for the health of consumers? No. Now the government is saying that if care is not taken, we'll be net exporter, not net importer of fish. Do you think price of fish will be the same? Now we are all consuming imported meat, those kind of things, which
poultry.
Everyday doctors are saying that doctors are warning us of these kinds of things that we are consuming. What are you also doing to raise the voice for those who have been put in authority to act to save our fisheries? So I will humbly appeal to all citizens, wherever, you know, you ask the commercial drivers, if there are fish catch, they also make money.
How?
Look, yes, because the women process these fish and transport them to the market. So they are also they also make business. You know, the assemblies, they collect toll. When you go to the market, they ticket and those kind of things. It is revenue to the government as well. So wherever you are one way or the other affected by what is happening. I told you, you know, lower middle income people, we consume the small pelagic, the herrings, the mackerel. That is what we consume the most. This fish is what is under threat. So wherever you are affected. Other than that, malnutrition among children in these coastal communities and even in the cities.
Kwashiorkor might even come back.
Yes, because they're not getting, fish protein. So wherever you are affected by what is happening in our fisheries, for which reason you need to add your voice. And the message is, stop cycle now.
Are there stories you've heard from some of your colleagues that you can share with us on the economic impact this whole lackadaisical attitude we've had towards the sector has brought upon them?
Yeah, that one, teenage pregnancy, drug abuse, go to the fishing communities. It's on the rise because parents are losing, that power to control these children because you are unable to provide for them. There's free SHS, but we still have young boys and girls who are not going to school. Who are not going to school because even these small things that parents should support these children to go, they are unable. Go to where these fishermen and fish processors sleep. Accommodation issue is a problem. They can't have decent homes to live. I think the minimum decent home to live. They can't afford it. Food consumption, it's an issue. So widespread hardship in our fishing communities. And the earlier government act, the better. The earlier government act, the better. Let's save artisanal fisheries. And it will do all of us good. It will make our nation healthy because over 2.7 million people depend on fisheries. So you can talk of 10% of the population. So if you have a situation where livelihoods of 10% of the population are being destroyed, why do we sit down? We are talking of creating jobs. Whilst some people's jobs are being destroyed by these industrial trawlers, who are mainly Chinese, because I learned we don't even have Ghanaian captains who can man these vessels. So mainly Chinese. Why are we destroying livelihoods of over 10% of the population? Why we are talking of creating jobs? No, we can't go that way. So there's hardship in fishing communities. People are really suffering. Fishers, fish processors are going through hell, and government has to act to save the industry.
Thank you. I've received some messages here. Philip Parr says, that's a superb, emotional, and passionate submission. Our laws must be enforced. Cephas Asari says, I've been following the Fishers' 1 week peaceful protest. Hopefully, they will move policymakers from talk to action. In case you guys want to have a future protest and the rest of us want to join, is there a number we can call to come on board and help, magnify the issues that and amplify the issues you're dealing with?
Yeah, of course, we will need you.
Okay.
And we need you now than before. Because at the end of this 1 week peaceful protest, we will now go back and sit down and look at the next line of action. Because we feel that it's a legitimate demand.
And you have every right.
It's unfortunate that it is an election year. Now, let me make this point also. In 2017, the scientists warned that if nothing is done, our fisheries could collapse in 2020. Incidentally, 2020 is an election year. In 2020, we are not having a catch. So is it not a confirmation of what the scientists said? Yeah. Does that mean because it is an election year, we'll have to keep quiet? No. So irrespective of whether it is an election year or not, we were told in 2017 that 2020 we are likely to have a collapse at a small pelagics. And it appears to be manifesting because we are in August. You go to the landing beaches, you send your reporters to go.
I'll personally come there with you.
You go. They are not making catch. Even anchovies, they are struggling to make it. And even they are even using light to even catch anchovies. So that is where we are going. So we will need you. And I think Ghana National Canoe Fishermen Council as the body that oversees artisanal fisheries. It's available.
Okay, is there a number that we can call?
Yes,
Please share
you
with us.
can call. Okay, then you can call 0246909643.
Okay, 0246909643.
Yeah,
Okay.
and we'll pick it up there. And whatever moves that we want to make to liaise with you so that you let the general public know. Because we need the general public on our side to demand for this. It is a collective responsibility.
Definitely.
Because it affects me,
it affects all
you.
of us.
It affects all of us.
Thank you very much,
Let us welcome him.
Naa Kweigya. He is the executive member of the Ghana National Canoe Fishermen Council. This is Fari Bambo, and it's been made possible through the help of the European Union, Care International, Oxfam, as well as Friends of the Nation. Hi there. We hope you enjoyed the show.
Make sure to subscribe, like, comment, and share with your friends.
This is Breakfast Daily on Citi TV.
Join the Breakfast Daily team Monday through Fridays from 7:30 a.m. to 10. Join us for breakfast daily, only on Citi TV.